We're going to play a fun game in Florida called Try to Beat the Rain. We'll see what happens. Step 19 is to think about leaning on contacts and things that you can leverage that you sort of naturally have. That can be similar to me, like my dad owned a bar. It was just a small, modest pizza shop and pub, and although it really wasn't a venue for a local DJ night, we didn't care. Dad was cool with it, so I brought down my turntables and my mixer, and I think it was on a slower night, a Monday or a Tuesday. And what I did was I created a DJ night. So basically, and there's pros and cons to this, but basically I marketed it as a night where if you're a DJ, you come down to the venue and we draw straws, or you sign up, or however you want to organize it. You sign up to play, you draw straws to play, and basically it's a nice little test. It kind of squeezes DJs, so it may not necessarily be the best thing to do, but what I mean by that is basically you show up at the beginning of the night, you draw straws to see who's going to play that night, and the lucky ones get to spin, and if you don't get to spin, and you don't even bother to stick around and talk and network and hang out, have a few beers, that's kind of a very telling sign then. It's not to say that you should be crucified and you'll never be allowed to have a gig, and it also doesn't mean that you have to hang out all night until last call, but, don't be kind of a passive or quiet sore loser by realizing that you're not going to get to spin tonight, so you just take off and go right back home and get back to your laptop or your TV. Hang out for an hour or two, have a beer or two, watch some local DJs, talk, maybe meet the promoter of the night, right? These are things that you can think about. Here's the drawback with that approach. You're only pulling in other DJs. So while that can be good because maybe, a keyword there's maybe, some of those DJs have a business mind like you and are down to throw a show. And let me just stop myself right there. Every single DJ is always down to throw a show. However, when minds get involved and ego gets involved, just because they're a DJ doesn't mean they have a business mind. And even if they have a good business mind, they may not be in line with your vision. So it's a good idea to talk to DJs. It's a good idea to network. But those DJs, maybe, it's like a funnel. You catch all the DJs. Even fewer stick around. And even way fewer have a business mind to really be a partner with you, to throw a show, hold a show, financially, donate to the cause and maybe rent a van or rent a sound system, pay for flyers, pay for ads. Everybody's down to throw a show until they realize, well, it's going to cost each person like $500 a piece or $1,000 a piece. Shows are expensive to throw, so you want to find, if you're going to do it that way, just understand you may find your best friend in the world and someone who's a business partner, and you guys may go on to make millions, or more than likely you'll find somebody who says that they're in it to win it, and after a week or two of the dopamine and the hysterics calming down and realizing it's hard work throwing a show, they're really not in it to win it. So all I mean by that is when you throw a show oriented towards getting DJs through the door, sure, the bar will probably have a pretty good night, but it doesn't actually attract, usually, your fan base. It doesn't usually attract ravers, as it were, or festival people, dancers, hoopers, people who enjoy that culture. So getting DJs through the door is great, but a lot of DJs don't really support other DJs to a level to the point where they're going to buy each other's t-shirts and really, really support each other like your fan base would. So there's drawbacks to that. You invite DJs in, that's great. You have a good night. It's very DJ and industry oriented. The bar will probably do good. Everyone will have fun watching each other DJ, but to a lesser degree, the second tier of people that are showing up, the ravers, are really the tier that should be first. So attracting them as sort of a byproduct to me isn't good. Adjust your night and adjust what you need to do so that you attract more of the general population that likes EDM, the ravers, and the byproduct should be other DJs that want to play your show. Not the inverse, which is what I just talked about, which is attracting DJs because they have a chance to spin and get their rocks off for the night, and then the byproduct being ravers. So something to consider there. But yeah, that's a cool little story on how I was able to kind of draw on my contacts of basically just, you know, having a dad, or a stepdad rather, that, you know, owned a bar and was cool with letting me play and do a night there and develop what it takes to do a night. Maybe your uncle runs a VFW hall. Maybe you flat out own a venue. Just think about the contacts that you have. Maybe your older brother works at Guitar Center and can get you employee discounts or something or other. You know, just think about the things that you can sort of rely on and pull strings on, and use those things to your advantage. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what the rest of the music business is doing, so you may as well too. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you in step 20.